Everybody, look at that. That was Timothy Connolly's Suck It Easy band with Skyray. The first 19
smooth listening music.
Yeah, the first 19 seconds of a song about Alan Shepard. So, of course, I love that. Ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, Hector Gonzalez in the house, helping us talk about stuff. Hector's energy level is about the same as John's, so that's cool.
I'm not as venomous.
That's true. That's true. You're one of those quiet, those hot-looking girls that sit in the corner of the sock hop and just devastatingly, like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, who just devastatingly make fun of everybody and then like kick out the jams later when at the after party.
I'll take it. I'll take that now. Thank you, sir.
Anyway, yeah, man. Price is on assignment somewhere. I don't know. So I'm super happy to have Hector come and talk about shit with me. I don't even know if you're a giant Star Trek fan. I know you dabble. But you don't have phasers and shirts and stuff, do you? I mean, yeah.
That's all for Star. I save all that for Star Wars.
I was a little late today because I was reading a grocery store magazine about, Star Trek. 55 plus years of awesomeness, and every once in a while I buy one of those because I love the Star Trek poster magazine. Do you remember that thing?
Yes.
Our buddy Doug Drexler worked on it, which I always think is really funny. That I was like 15, working my first job at a hospital in the emergency room. Next to it was a small minor surgery area. So I was the guy that did all the trays and held the kids' heads when they had their faces bitten off by dogs and stuff like that. It was crazy. But afterwards I would walk to the pharmacy and buy a Star Trek poster magazine and then drive home.
And I was thinking about this subject today because I binge watched, I know Price hates it, but Prodigy.
Oh, yeah?
Over the last week and a half or so.
What do you think of that?
If I take it as a cartoon, it's not as bad as Price was making it out to be. Not as bad by a long stretch. But there's a lot of leaps. Like, how are these kids just going to be foisted right to the forefront of a starship?
Yeah. I watched it too. John Suntrays and Mitch Halleck, the guys that do Odd Trek, sort of embarrassed me into watching it. And I watched like the first 4 because they said, and then I finished the first season just because I have to. But boy, was that not for me. And your note is correct, right? That how are the kids there? There's lots of leaps, but that's kid cartoons anyway. And so there's just a whole bunch. Every second it was like, oh, this isn't for you, Larry. It says Star Trek, but it's not for you. And I fear that that's what the live action Starfleet Academy show is going to be.
Oh God, I hope not.
Because they've been talking about that since 1986. And the reason it hasn't happened is because it's dumb. It's not Star Trek. That's Archie in Star Trek, right?
Exactly.
So
what are you exploring?
Yeah, man. I think there's just a hair of a chance that it might be cool, because Tawny Newsome, the girl that does Mariner's voice on Lower Decks, is apparently a pretty good writer. And so she's giving good notes on all the episodes as she goes. And so somehow the Star Trek Brain Trust just put her in the writer's room for this Starfleet Academy. And if that girl, who's super quick and super clever, goes, all right, I'm going to do the paper trace in Star Trek, then I'm fine. I'll love that show. But if it's just Jimmy and Bobby going to the Starfleet chocolate shop, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. Because that's what these guys do.
Comedic timing too.
Yeah, she does. She's great,
and she's eye candy. So much eye
candy. I turned 60 in October, and I can't say those things in public anymore.
Sure you can.
I was talking to my kid. No, just everybody's younger, right? I was talking to my kid about how I'm mad I don't have a news girlfriend now because Hallie Jackson got bumped up to she's like the real Washington correspondent now. She's not like the on the floor guy. And I used to love Ann Curry, but she got hustled out because of Matt Lauer and was proven to be right and everything, but still she's gone. And so I'm looking for this. So my kid goes, "Hey, what about this girl? She's the new Washington reporter." And I look at her, I'm like, dude, I have pants older than her. So I look her up and she's 24 years old. And I was like, Walker, look at this, man. This girl is only 8 years older than you. And she's on TV saying really smart shit about the evil political shit that's going on. Like, so all that means is that the young kids eventually take over and I can't have a news girlfriend anymore. That's what that means, because that just sounds creepy. Like I get up in the morning and some cute girl tells me the news. It's like, don't start your day like that, man.
I'm getting there. I notice it. Like I joined a different gym.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, it's just like put my hood up and go about my business. I see it. I acknowledge it for what it is. That is impressively hot. And I just press it.
But you don't have to say it out loud, right?
Nope.
There's this great
sitting in there.
There's this great Robert B. Parker Spencer novel where I will never forget this. It's just in the middle of some random book, doesn't matter. Spencer goes, "Yes, that's a handsome woman, and guess what? I don't have to do anything about it."
Right.
I guess I was about 22 or 23, and I went, "Oh, really?" Like that's a philosophy you can have? Oh man, I'm glad somebody said that out loud.
It's nice. It's just like looking at a painting. It's nice to look at. I don't have to own it or touch it or do anything. I just have to, it's there. It's cool. Carry on.
I just think I had a mom and a sister and everything, and I think it was really funny that that wasn't that thing they tell boys in America in the late 70s, 80s. Hey, respect everybody. That just wasn't going on.
I have a mom and a sister, but I don't think any of those thoughts that you just shared. I still think that. Yeah,
I'm just, I'm putting it in context.
You're a distinguished gentleman.
For Chris Sagasag and the other people who are listening. Hey, so one of the funny things that happened, we tried to do this last week, and my internet connection is intermittent for some reason. I don't know. I have two computers right here, and they're both. One of them kind of doesn't work, and one of them it's bulletproof, and that's the old one. So,
I mean, I could go into long detail about how to fix it. But
no, please don't.
That's like for another time.
Yeah, that's like that's like asking your doctor buddy like what this is, right? Like, no, I'm not gonna. Mimi's on it. We got a new router. We swapped stuff, a new router. We're actually getting rid of Comcast. Nancy Sen will be happy. We're flopping over to Sonic. It's just it's dumb.
Here's one thing I will tell you. Wired is better than wireless. Any chance?
Yeah, I agree.
Like my house back in Cleveland, I pulled cable myself. I was like, screw it. I'm going to do this so I can avoid the wireless nonsense. Just ran cable through the basement, up through the walls. Then I moved 6 months later.
Well, at least you were, Mark Wahlberg about it and not Will Ferrell. Right. What, you hired a man to trim your bushes? Anyway. Oh, yeah, here we go. Sagasag says Prodigy's okay. Section 31 is underway. That's what I was going to talk about today with Price. But do you know about this? The Michelle Yeoh Section 31?
I saw like an ad for it with her like head peeking out of some like area thing. I was just like, this is so not interesting to me.
Yeah.
What are they? I mean,
the big thing is
discovery nonsense.
There was going to be a show, and then nobody cared very hard. And then the coronavirus came, and Alex, what's his name? The idiot, Alex Kurtzman. He's still got Eugene's guitar, so he won't give it up. He won't just go because Michelle Yeoh is an Oscar-winning actress now, and she's under contract. So, I get why they're doing it, but it's been changed down to a nice little 2-hour special event. And guess what? I can ignore that now because Section 31 is ass.
an Oscar-winning actress isn't enough to draw you to a sci-fi action series.
I agree.
I mean, great. She's phenomenal. She's Crouching Tiger, Hidden, whatever time travel movie that was, multiverse movie that was. Goody.
It was all the titles everywhere all at once.
Yeah, something like that. I've never seen it. I don't feel like I'm missing out.
I just heard today, Rick Austin, my oldest buddy from when we were in grade school, he can't take that. Yeah, no, Rick. I love that you do that. I think you and me are the only one that even acknowledges that nickname.
That's like I see him sliding by, and I gotta slide it in every once in a while. Just kind of.
I think it's funny. I think he gets like, what? Oh yeah, Barry. Oh, all right.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes.
yeah, he hates everything everywhere all at once, and I'm like, all right. I mean, if you like whatever's going on in Marvel, it's the same thing, right?
Right.
To the point that they hired Short Round to put him in Loki, right? He plays the same goddamn character, even. It's insane.
Really?
Well, but the same.
I get what you're saying.
The same type of character, right? The whole like, I don't know what's going on, but I better figure it out. Oh, leave me alone! You cheat very bad. It kind of worked in Loki. I think I actually really liked his character.
Yeah, it fit perfectly in there. I haven't seen that movie, so I have no clue what kind. I mean, if he's playing a similar like delivery and.
It literally, you kind of don't have to see it, because if you know the title and have seen the movie poster, that's the movie. It is literally everything everywhere all at once
without Doctor Strange.
It's like a Marvel movie without costumes. It's hey, this door closed and that happened and what? Okay, everybody's got hot dogs for fingers now. And I know that's what drives Rick crazy, because he's got a sense of whimsy, but he doesn't get like lunacy for the sake of lunacy. And that, like, half of that movie is like a Keith Haring picture that's moving around. And that's kind of not why we go to guys like us go to movies, and so that's why I hate Section 31, because it's bean counter stuff. It's like, we have this actor under contract, she has a fan base, she's won some awards, equals ratings for us. And it's like, no, you are fine making that calculation all the way to the end, because you've forgotten who you're making your entertainment for. Right? I mean, maybe. I wouldn't call it Section 31, but I could do the same exact movie for them with her and make it awesome, because it's not Star Trek, right?
Right.
So just have her beam in somewhere and then tell the story you want, and then the ship comes and picks her up, and then it's Star Trek, right? But all this dumb shit about, we're super spies in the Star Trek world, and then she's really like somebody from the next episode over, and like, fuck you. Like, wagon train to the stars, please.
Exactly. What I don't understand about that is Star Trek is this utopian society based, there should be no need. There's no need for money. There's no need for espionage. I mean, well, on Earth in the Federation, but
yeah,
what is this? What's the purpose of this? So you're basically doing what JJ Trek did with their Dreadnought, whatever that thing was.
Oh yeah, the Peter Weller ship at that one. Yeah.
31.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pass. I'm good.
I don't even know who this actor is that Chris mentioned.
Yeah, Edwin Akufo.
Akufo. He sounds like he was in The Good Place.
Where's he in, Chris?
Yeah, you could, Steve. You could got it. It'll be the chocolate shop visit. I just don't get, like. I understand. I don't understand why they're in love with Section 31 when the Starfleet time cops is a thing. Remember that when they did the Trouble with Tribble episode?
Yep.
Dude, you could do. Oh, Sam Richardson, of course. Thank you, Chris. See, I don't know. I know him from Veep and Workaholics. And yeah, all the press for that was like, oh, Sam Richardson from Ted Lasso. And I had to think. Like, I watched every episode of Ted Lasso twice, and I was like, where's Sam Richardson in that? Oh, yeah, he's the African guy who's trying to buy the team in the last season. But like, why would you say Sam Richardson from Ted Lasso and expect anybody to get it? It's like...
I'm glad
on
you
the team.
break it down for me. Should have said the Elon clone in Ted Lasso.
Yeah, something, something like that.
Some analog.
But yeah. Anyway, I'll watch it. It's a 2-hour movie. I watched Rebel Moon, which actually I loved. Fuck all those people who are giving Snyder shit. Like, I don't know what you want. You grew up on Star Wars? Here's some more stuff that's kind of like Star Wars.
I won't say it was horrible. I enjoyed the 2 hours that I had. It was predictable, but that doesn't mean. I mean, I know how a great steak is going to taste. It's still a great steak.
Yes, exactly. I wouldn't even say that was a great steak, but you know what? I was a little hungry for that kind of steak. And,
it was a good hamburger.
It filled my belly. It was great.
Right, exactly.
I had to tell my kid he's go because I just watched it one night puttering around, and then I like sat down and watched like the last hour because I was really invested by that point. Like I like the visuals, I like the design, the costumes are great, and yes, it's like every other science fiction movie made in the last 20 years. Guess what? That's good. I like that. Please give me another one with
There's
different
a reason
people.
AC/DC puts the same album out every year.
Well, that's kind of that's an interesting thing, right? Because that's like a style thing, like actors. I was just watching some Kurt Russell press because everybody knows I'm in love with Kurt Russell. He did this great thing for GQ, just having like 3 minutes on every one of the iconic characters he's done. And just that dude just sitting there in a sweater, it like gives you more like how creativity works, just oozing out of his stuff than like you could get in a whole college course of studying, because it's insane. And I was just thinking, like, man, there's just nothing like a guy who grows up in an industry, right? Anyway,
it's totally rubbed off on their kids too. I mean,
yeah, that's what the last bit was him talking about Lee Shaw and Monarch, and so the whole thing was like talking about his son, and how he didn't really get. He had looked at it like they were playing two different characters in time, because as an old man, he realizes he thinks completely differently than he did when he was in his mid-20s or early 30s, right? So to him, it's two different characters. And then he told this great story. He's like, well, I was kind of bored one day. I didn't have a shoot, so I was like, let's go see what Wyatt's doing. And he was doing some action scene, and he's like, that's what I realized. Like, we're the same guy. So if he starts doing this with his head, I have to do that too. Maybe not as much in the future, but it's like, so then we started talking about like little bits of business we could do, and I was just like, man, can I just hang out with Kurt Russell and him tell me how to like make beans or something? Because it's going to be awesome. And he's going to mention that was Walt Disney's last words, where like, I wonder what Kurt Russell's doing.
Wait, was it him that smashed that priceless guitar too?
Yeah, they play the scene from the movie. And they don't mention it, which is great, because it's like, here's one for everybody who's a real Kurt fan. We're not going to bring this up because we know it's painful. But here's the scene.
Oh, that was so bad.
Do you want to tell the story for the kids? Like, people might not know about the guitar.
I don't know if I'll do it justice, but God, who was the actress now? I'm blanking on the
Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Thank you. Jennifer Jason Leigh is one of the criminals in the movie, and she's playing this priceless Martin guitar. That's from like the early 1900s, I believe, or 1800s. It was an old
yeah, it's
guitar.
A period guitar. It's a guitar that character would have.
And so the scene was supposed to be Kurt Russell grabs the guitar, they cut away, put in the stunt double guitar, and then he smashes it to stop her from playing because he's tired of hearing her babble or sing or whatever. So it doesn't happen. He grabs the guitar, this priceless Martin guitar that just there's only one of them, and smashes it to bits. And Tarantino catches Jennifer Jason Leigh's face because she can't believe it's happening.
Yeah, she's horrified.
It's the perfect scene, but it cost, the guitar was worth millions of dollars.
Yeah, I don't even know. I know that Kurt paid for it. I can't imagine it was millions of dollars. I think I don't really remember it enough to say, but I think that he said to the museum, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. This is one of those things. Please be kind to me." And they went, how about this? And he was like, absolutely. It was just like, it was very, he took full responsibility, but and they didn't go after him. That's the end of the story that I know. But they could have sued him.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But at that point, like, who's responsible, right? Like, then it's like, I hate to trivialize it, but it's like the Alec Baldwin thing. Like, yeah, he killed that girl.
Tarantino was sitting there knowing what was going on, though, and he's just kind of like in his little Tarantino way, because he knew it was going to happen.
I bet you're right.
He's just like, yeah, screw it.
I'm just not going to say anything, right?
Right. This movie's going to make hundreds of millions of dollars. Fire away. Break it.
Oh yeah, Sag says 40 grand for the guitar.
Oh, still, that's a lot.
Yeah, I had it in my head that the museum said something and Kurt gave him $150,000. So I don't know if that's right. I don't know if I just remember that from something else. But if it was 40,000 guitar and he almost tripled it, or whatever the math is on that. Tripled it. I'm sure everybody was like, that was an unfortunate thing that happened, but now you're part of history too, Kurt, for this.
Right. Here's this pile of splinters that used to be worth $40,000. Thanks, Kurt Russell.
You didn't listen to the Strike Force 5 thing with Fallon, the podcast? It was Fallon, John Oliver, all the top guys. Seth, what's his name? The other Jimmy.
Rogan?
No, Seth, the guy from Saturday Night Live that does late night. It was all the late night guys plus John Oliver. Anyway, they told some story about how somebody from what's the band that plays for Fallon? The
Roots.
The Roots. Thank you.
Yep.
The lead guitarist of the Roots, Prince comes on. Prince is like, I forgot my guitar, and he's like, I'd be honored if you play this guitar. And Prince destroyed it at the end. And the guy's just like, well, that's sad, but on the other hand, Prince destroyed my guitar. And so, oh no, it's not Fallon. It's Stephen Colbert, right? That has the Roots, because Colbert went and pulled up, or whoever. It's Colbert's band, and he goes over and picks up all the trash, and he has like this giant splinter framed in his in his office, and they tell Prince, and Prince is horrified. He just, he thought it was just something. So he pays to get it put back together. And there's a giant piece missing, and they filled it in with something. And so the guy has to work for Stephen Colbert, knowing the part of his guitar is like in Stephen's office, right?
I mean,
I just think that after I heard those two stories kind of back to back, like between 3 or 4 months of each other, and I was like, well, I'm just never going to pick up a guitar in my life. If I see a guitar there, I'm not going to go smash for the joke, because that's not working out for real Hollywood people with real money, and I'd probably just go to jail. So, and that's why I never play guitar.
Is that why?
How's your strumming coming along?
They're all sitting back there.
I
still have to finish the one, but I kind of got sidetracked with printing, and then I got sidetracked with work, which sidetracked me from printing. It's just a whole.
Well, do what Walker does and just go, I can't go to school today because I got to finish my, Novacore helmet or whatever, Where are you on your, what's that?
Does that work? Does he get away with that?
No. He gets away with it with me if we're doing something already. Like if I pick him up and we're supposed to go somewhere, he's like, hey, can we go to Dave and Buster's for half an hour on the way over? And like, fuck yeah. And then we're 2 hours late for somewhere. That works. But that's mostly because I don't want to do whatever we're doing.
It's like, oh, look, shiny.
Yeah. It's more like, no, that other stuff is dirty and scummy and I don't want it.
To answer the question that you almost asked.
About 3PO, yeah?
Yeah, I've got a compressor now. I've got an HVLP gun. So I can blast some Bondo on it to lessen the amount of spray sanding I have to do. And that's the next step. Now the next step is go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that was my big question about this project, because it's not resin, right? Or is it?
No, it's there's gonna be parts of it that are resin, like the smaller greeblies I'm gonna print in resin. The other parts are gonna be just the plastic, the PLA.
Are you gonna try to electroplate that?
I kind of want to.
Yeah, but like,
And I saw
you're gonna be
there's
finishing that when you're 60. Just
there's
like
a
they're
group
rubbing on the sand.
there's a group that Tiffany and I are in on Facebook that's just all droid printing. And one of the guys in the group who put up the 3PO files for free has like a statue that will act out parts from the movie. It's the wildest thing I've ever seen. And I'm
That's
like,
great.
I kind of want that.
You mean he's
But
got motors and it's like, there's no escape
Yep.
for the princess this
So-
time, that kind of shit?
Yep.
Oh man,
So
that's awesome.
So he's like, he's doing the go that way. Be malfunctioning within a day. You nearsighted scrap out, and he like kicks the robot statue kicks like he's kicking R2. I'm like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
How
Wow.
far we have come.
I don't want moving stuff in my office. I just looked over that way is where all my spacesuits are, and we were doing something. Oh, moving the stuff out for the cabin. So through my office, and we have Walker's like sort of chill zone playroom is our bottom of our house, and you can there's these, not this door, but right over there. There's two doors that go to the garage. It's not legal because you're supposed to have fire, but we don't park a car in there anyway, so nothing's gonna burn. But you can open those. Yeah, a little scorch. Who cares? You open the garage door, and then those doors, and then our sliding glass doors, and you can walk from the back of our back of our yard to the front of the house, which is great. If a tree falls over, you don't have to. You just move it through here. But the bad news is that I have to move some mannequins to make that a clear path for everybody that are actually doing work. And so I always stick one right there. And motherfucker, that it scares me. I know it's there. I know I did it, but there's not supposed to be somebody standing there. So basically a moving 3PO that kicks in the middle of the night. Oh man, that's not for me.
That's when you wake up in one of those stupors, and I've had that happen lately. You just, holy shit, where am I? And yeah, you see things like that you don't know about. You're gonna, your heart rate's gonna go.
Yeah,
I'm good on that kind of terror.
In the middle of the night, it's like, oh, Daddy's got adrenaline now. You just don't.
Yeah, I'm done sleeping.
Yeah. Oh, so Chuck Gilbert. Oh, Chuck Gilbert in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania goes, why didn't they just use a replica guitar for the whole shoot? Because that's not verisimilitude. Old Quentin Tarantino, and probably any movie director, if you give them the choice, here's the real thing, or here's a replica that looks exactly the same, every single director is going to go, well, the sound it's more authentic, the real one, right?
I get what you're saying, but it's all going to be fixed in post anyway.
That's true too. Well, then that's it. Why didn't they just use a replica guitar?
Ego. That's where I'm going. Where I stand. Ego. But it made for great cinema or a great story.
It's a great story, yeah. But that's why I think any director would do that, because you get into movie directing to tell great stories, right?
Yeah.
So that's I kind of get into that with Mimi sometimes, because I'll be doing something and it's like you're telling her something and she's like, really? And I'm like, I'm telling you a story, okay? She's like, but that's not how it really happened. Like, but she's a reporter's daughter, so she knew who she was getting married to. 80% true and 20% awesome, because that's what people remember.
Zhuzh is my favorite word lately. Zhuzh.
Zhuzh? Get a little zhuzh on that?
That's right. I'm going to spruce this story up for you.
Zhuzh.
It's Chrysler.
I don't know.
Chrysler says that.
Who does?
Bert Kreischer.
Oh, Kreischer.
So he'll you're telling the story all wrong. And you hear him talk about this in podcasts. Like he will add a little more sauce to the goose for the story just to make it sound better.
Yeah.
Is it true? No. Is it a good story the way he tells it? Yes. So
who did they try to get on that? Somebody was writing a comedian. I don't remember. Nancy Pants would remember. I posted it. It was just like 2 months ago.
Oh man.
You remember what I'm talking about? They were like, oh, this guy's lying, and it's like, Not really.
Oh, was it
Walker Young's in the house. He gets home from school.
Hassan Manvi or something like that?
Hassan, right? Was it Hassan? Yeah.
I think so.
I get confused. The article I read, a third of it was about Aziz Ansari and his like bad date gone wrong, and
horrible.
And you're like, yeah, man, like they get that guy for like what's basically a misunderstanding. I mean, whatever. I don't want to get into that. All stories are true, but they compare it to a guy just telling jokes, you know, and that's the part that I'm like, oh man, like those two things are not the same. You know?
There was part of me with that Hassan Manvi thing where I was just like, and then I was like, you know what? It doesn't affect me. Tell the story you want to tell. I don't care.
Yeah.
Are you going to make people laugh? Cool.
Right. That was why I had such a problem with that comedian thing, because it's like everybody knows the context under which you are consuming comedy, right? Nobody is going to comedy and thinking I'm getting tonight's news. Even when you were, you know, when Jon Stewart was on the Daily Show and John Oliver now, the context is still, you might get some true facts, but it's going to be hilarious, right? Mm-hmm. So everybody understands the context. And this woman just basically took his shit out of context. And it's like, well, the second you take things out of context, you can make anybody look like anything because the context has been removed. So what are we doing?
That is the slippery slope we are on currently. Yeah. And I will choose to ignore that slope and keep on keeping on.
Yeah. Yeah. But like, yeah.
But anyway.
I think I think it should only. The only reason I bring that up is because I want all those people to mobilize about getting Alex Kurtzman out of his job. Like we don't need to cancel him. Just remove him from Star Trek completely.
Remove him from executive producing, being a showrunner, running any movies, directing.
Well,
I liked The Mummy. You know,
yeah, I mean, I would never say that because the reason the guy got hired is he tiptoes all through Hollywood politics and he understands how to produce all that stuff, and that's great. That guy top of his game, making stuff happen, but not creatively, man. Like maybe he had some early successes, and that's cool. Not Star Trek. You don't get it. You've said you don't get it. What the fuck are you doing?
It's like putting JJ on Star Trek. And look, I liked the 3 JJ movies, but the guy is not a Star Trek fan, and it shows. You know, he's all about let's blow things up. Okay, but that's not Star Trek, dude.
I love these guys that were like, well, Star Trek's a big enough thing that it can handle my action adventure stuff. And it's like, well, that's true, but maybe your Star Trek audience can't handle it because the reason they like that, if they wanted that, they would go watch Star Wars, right?
Exactly.
Star Trek fans love like Star Trek 4. It's got whales, right? There's no villain. There's no they're not fighting against anything. They're fighting to save things. Right? That's Star Trek.
The closest thing to a villain is that damn whaling ship at the end.
That's right. Well, you had that great point of earlier where you were like, shit, I forgot. Something about Star Trek. That I was gonna make it fit with the whole like why people watch Star Trek. I don't know. I throw myself off.
We'll have to rewind someday and see what I said. I can't remember.
I almost always watch these right after because I'm either paying attention to what you're saying or looking at you or looking at the clock to make sure my kid's back from school. And so it's amazing I can say anything.
Hey, you're doing well. I'm just sliding my way through, man.
So Section 31, they haven't said anything what it's going to be about. That picture of Michelle Yeoh, she's wearing her pointed shoulder stuff from the Mirror Universe. So, hey, Tim.
Sorry, Tiff stumbled in.
That's hilarious.
Oh, that's great.
Tiffany, we were talking a little about 3D printing and
Mr. Badley,
and you're the queen of it. Thanks for helping Walker with his new setup. There was a really funny thing, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, a month ago, around Christmas. Mimi had time to set up Walker's new machine he got, and you were in on this, right? And Tiffany, she just like Tiff and Kev Kamarley and Matt Shivers. She activated the brain trust and figured it all out. And I was like just sitting on the couch, like eating bonbons or whatever I was doing. And I was like, How is it that you're talking to all my friends? And she's like, they're my friends now too.
She just inherited them.
In fact,
Chris gets way more than anybody.
Mimi and Walker actually have met Tiff a couple of times.
Oh, cool.
Because when she was in Cincinnati, because I would go to the show and Mimi would take Walker to go visit her grandmother, and so they just hung out. I'm like, what the fuck? I've never met Tiffany. This is my friend. God damn it!
I lived in Cleveland and never met Tiff. You were 3 hours away, Tiff.
I was gonna say I don't know.
Could have met in Columbus.
I don't know how far away that is.
3 hours.
Yeah, that's cool. You know, I was born in Cleveland. I love Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland's awesome. We met Tiffany. Tiffany. We met? No, we didn't meet. When did we meet?
You and Larry, not me.
I don't know. Maybe we did. I don't remember. But if we did, it was in Cincinnati. Oh, you guys met. Yeah. Oh, a prop party with Gino. Oh, that's hilarious.
I didn't go to that one.
Nah.
I don't believe it. But anyway.
In her dreams, she met you. That's what it is.
I know. You missed out.
Anyway, so it's a sea scar, right? Speaking of Gino.
He says he kind of says
I'm
that
making mad or not.
He kind of says that it like he's handled the original.
Yeah.
Says, well, it is kind of there, and I'm like, dude, it's a paint blemish. There's a little paint bubble that popped, and there we are. There's your scar.
He handled it all right. Those guys. Oh, well, I think we lost. We gained a couple of guys. I thought we were going to lose audience members talking about Star Wars prop nonsense.
What Star Trek prop nonsense? I'm out of my depth there, Donnie.
4 different pairs of weapons for the turret on my 3D Falcon rip-off ship. Have you been following that project?
Yes, I have.
That's pretty cool. I saw it this morning, the little cockpit with a Space 1999 Eagle doors on the back. Oh, look at this. Oh, this is hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what have you been watching for TV, Hector? Or you've just been busy?
Well, I've been busy with Prodigy. I just finished Prodigy. I just finished Reacher, and I just finished Monarch last week. I'm kind of looking to see what else is out there, or what else is going to grab my horizon. I'm waiting for Halo. Halo is next month.
Mm-hmm.
What else has caught my attention?
Did you play Halo a lot? Were you a gamer?
Yes.
How do you, as a guy who understands the property, how do you feel they did with that first season?
How can I best put it?
Uh-oh.
I get why they showed a lot of John Spartan's face, because there's an actor under there, and he's got to get some notoriety. But it was a bit much, and the whole subplot of the chosen one, whatever her name was, and she was good looking. Yeah, could have done without that.
I've never played the game, so I don't know. I mean, I'm aware of it. I know who Master Chief is. I know about the plasma rifle. I know all the gear and shit, and they're fighting the Covenant. I get all that. But as just a regular Joe, it was super disconcerting to have the show was on for like 3 minutes, and Pablo takes his helmet off and he's like, "Hey, I'm Master Chief, and look at my face." And I was like, "What the fuck am I watching? That's not the regular person version of Halo." So it really I kind of got very like ho hum about it, and nobody else in my family cared in the first place. So we just kind of fell off, and it was kind of getting good. Like the cool like computer chick shows up, and there's a little mystery, and Natasha alone. What's her name? Alone or whatever. The dreamy lab chick from Californication.
Yeah,
she's great.
Yes.
Right? And I was just starting to get into it, and they were like, who cares? And I'm like, okay. And so now I'm kind of not excited about the second season, and I feel kind of like I'm a bad nerd,
I mean, if you have no, I want to say, ties to the series, it's just, if it's not going to grab you, it's not going to grab you.
Yeah, I just feel badly about it though.
The initial lure was that it was, hey, this is the game you guys all played. Go ahead, take a nibble. And grab you in. And they threw little things in there here and there. But yeah, like Chris says, it was a bit odd.
Oh yeah, Masters of the Air is the next one we're watching.
That one. So I was looking at Apple TV and I saw the trailer for that. I was like, okay, this is very Memphis Belle / Red Tails. Let's go ahead and watch this. It's got to be fun.
Yeah, Walker and I just crushed George Clooney's Catch-22 show to the point where I got him the sequel in the book, and he just read the whole thing. He's really into World War II stuff right now. So yeah, we'll be watching that.
Nice.
I haven't started Zorro on Prime either, and I love Zorro.
I forgot all about that until Chris just said so.
Yeah, we started. I actually turned it on when Mimi was making dinner and Walker was just hanging out, and I saw like the first 17 seconds, like somebody's at night and he's got a torch and they're running towards a fire, and both of them freaked out. They're like, "Turn that off right now. We're gonna watch that later." And I was like, "Dang, okay, that's cool." So that was fun. What is Steve talking about? The minute
the
stuff
he's talking
about limits. Comedy dies. What is
that? The villain on the in Star Trek 4.
Oh yeah. SF Punk on the bus. Yeah, that's our buddy. Who is that? I forget. He's in that cool Werewolf by Night thing. Kirk Thatcher. He's a cool guy. I like him.
He was in which Spider-Man was that too?
Right. I think it was the second one. Is he playing the? He's playing the same guy, right?
Pretty much.
I think that was the conceit. Like he's on the East Coast now, and he's
playing.
Anyway, that was great. SF Punk on the bus. That's awesome. All right. Well, I don't know. Oh, okay. Tiff goes, I know what I'm watching tonight now. Probably Halo. That's what she's talking about.
I hope so.
Maybe Masters of the Air. Who knows? Maybe Zorro.
Either one of those.
All I have to do is tell Mimi that Danny Rojas from Ted Lasso is in Zorro, and she'd watch.
Is that who Zorro?
No, he's not in it.
Oh,
I'm just saying that's all I would have to do to get her to watch it. She would watch 3 episodes before she realized, where's that guy?
There's cute Latinos in here, but not Danny Rojas.
When Danny Rojas? Rojas live. Anyway. Oh, did I tell you I'm working on a novel, man? I've never tried to do a novel. I don't want to do a novel. I don't understand how novels work, but I figured out, you know me, I try to do something new, something weird, something different. I figured out a way that I can do a novel with putting a little Larry on it. It's cool. Those dumb posts that I write sometimes that are just long run-on sentences, kind of get into a groove. I'm get my money. I'm just doing a whole book like that. I have a story reason why a character talks like that, and he's the main character. So it won't be hard to read. It's one sentence for 200 pages, but which I might try someday. Did you hear about John Adams? What is he, the 2nd or 4th president, whichever? His inaugural speech is only 768 words, but it's one sentence. Jeez. And so the second I found that out, I'm like, hey, everybody gives me shit about run-on sentences right there. Wait, let me get really close. Right there. President of the United States.
Founding
Writing
father.
Cruel Shoes. I wish. Cruel Shoes is amazing. That's Steve Martin's book. He wrote a whole bunch of short stories. And Cruel Shoes is just one of the short stories, but it was the title. The best one, though, is She's Got the Jugs, which is it's like an 800-word story. This lovely bucolic thing about a little boy. His mom tells him to go to the store across the way and get some milk. And he goes and gets milk and comes back and gives it to his mom. But because it's Steve Martin, you're just laughing the entire time because it's called She's Got the Jugs.
I have to add this to my my reading list now. Thanks.
1978 Cruel Shoes. I probably have bought 17 or 18 copies of that in my life. I have 2 of them now, including the first one I bought, but then like a really nice version. And then all the other ones I buy to give to people.
Add it to the list.
Recommend it. And then you can talk to me and Chris about it, who obviously knows about Cruel Shoes.
He knows a lot more than I do about it. A lot more.
It's mine's exploration of all the dumb shit I say about artificial intelligence. So, it's I don't know if anything's going to happen, but I'm just whenever I don't do anything, it's a real easy thing to slip into. So I'll just bang out some fucking nonsense and go, that's cool. I might use that for something.
Does the dumbness include people's reactions?
Yeah. There's. I kind of don't want to tell you what it's about. I'll tell you about it later, but not in public. But yeah. There's the main character is the only one that does these run-on sentence things, and then the rest of the world is like unchanged. But there's a story reason why he talks like that.
The main character is you.
Kinda.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard with novel writing. Your first one is usually about you.
Yeah, I mean, write what you know, right?
Right.
But not just that. They say that for the normal people. What it is write how old you are. You know, like nobody in their 20s is writing Confederacy of Dunces. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like your concerns are different. So like 60 is a perfect time because I'm not in the 60s really, but I'm not really done with the 50s. So like that's the time where you do shit like this. So like I've spent my whole like middle part of my life going, I'm not going to do that. And I have a comfort zone, and there's a reason why they call it a comfort zone. And I get why people want you to get out of your comfort zone. I'm not going fucking open water swimming needy. But you know what? I'll try a book. I think I got a book in me. Everybody's always telling me, write a fucking novel. And I'm like, because write a novel. Like, no, I want to write the greatest American novel. Well, I don't know if I got that in me, but I have something that says something about what's going on in the world right now. And it takes place in 2043. So I get my little flying cars and phasers and shit. But, you know, it's our world. It's just like 20 years from now.
Are we plugged into the computers at that point?
Oh, yes.
Nice. Sign me up for the singularity, sir.
It's just basically now, right? It's the difference between, 2003 and 2023.
See, I still say that we live in the best of times.
We do. Although,
no matter how crazy it is,
John Price could be running Star Trek.
That would be okay. That would be legitimately the best of times.
Oh, look how good old Tiff. I'm off to dinner. Watch the rest of the show later. You get enough of us rapping, Tiffany. You don't need to waste your time listening to this. But yeah, that's what I like doing. Oh, look at Saga. Sword fighting is live. Yeah. Sword fighting is life. Walker did fencing for a while, but he didn't. It was a serious fencing camp, and he just didn't want to hear. All right, now hold on guard for 2.5 weeks. It's advance, retreat.
That is the horrible part of martial arts is the beginning. Feel like you're not anything.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're getting beat up for no good reason, but it all makes sense later.
Well, that's what's good about the swords. Nobody's beating you up. They're just poking at you.
I'm okay. I don't think I want to be poked. I want to be poked. I don't want to be thrown. I'm too old for that mess.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm too old for that. I just gotta like pull some trucks down the street by a chain.
The strength lifting days are behind me for a while. It's all lifting for health reasons now.
Yeah, gotcha.
Whatever.
Yeah, move around. It's important.
Yes, I forget where I read it, but one of the signals of shortened mortality is grip strength or lack thereof. So I'm like, well, good. I'm just going to keep lifting heavy things and not lose that.
I have a 16-year-old, right? So you can't use, grip strength without me going, working on your grip strength, huh?
With this hand, too. Gotta switch it up.
I love how I get to blame Teenage Walker on that. Not that that's my sense of humor exactly.
Oh no, not at all.
That's, the bad.
Juvenile sense of humor human beings here. No.
I'm just glad that he's growing up out like a good kid, because then I get, when he was 8, Mimi first said, "Oh, I have 2 8-year-olds," and that was kind of true, right? But now it's like, well, I have 2 16-year-olds. It just keeps getting better for me.
See, like, people say this, and I hate to diverge from sci-fi stuff you're talking about. Like, I see it with my nephew. He's 15, and everyone talks about how bad this generation is going to be, how bad off they have it, blah, 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 blah. And then I see kids like my nephew and your son. No, they've got their, they're teenagers. They're going to do dumb stuff, but they still basically got a good head on their shoulders. And that's, most of them.
I agree. Haven't people said that since mankind came out of the tree? It's like, there's kids nowadays, eating with forks and whatnot. My day, we used to just eat walnuts whole, crack them with our 5 teeth, which were just molars.
I've caught my brother being a little coming down heavy on him. I was like, dude, remember what you were like. I just want you to not lose sight of what kind of a jagoff you were at his age. Yeah, you're right.
I almost never talk about like other people's kids because, everybody's different. Every kid is different. But yeah, I will. Early on, I would feel like, oh man, my dad would be yelling at me right now about this. But like, so I'm a different kind of dad, and he's a different kind of kid. And I think this one's going to be all right. I'm just going to mind my own business on this one.
Yeah, I think you'll be all right.
The Walker, he's dude. What they did for the Super Bowl. I mean, not the Super Bowl. They're the Niners and the Lions and all those games. So he and I watched the Chiefs game first thing, and then his buddies came over to like hang out downstairs and have pizza and have laughs and stuff. And there's like 5 of them. They have this epic Monopoly game going on, and so they didn't watch the last half of the game. They were really into Monopoly. They had it on and stuff. And Mimi and I are in the bedroom going, "Wow, what the fuck?" And they're like, "Oh, what happened?" And we're like, "The Niners are winning now." And they're like, "What?" Like, yeah, that's how you watch football games. You don't play an epic Monopoly game with 6 guys screaming at each other, trying to, it's fun.
But are they all on the football team together?
That's the thing, right? They're like, well, yeah, we know what's happening. Like,
right.
They can't watch football because they're like, oh, look at that guy.
You don't want to see
missed the thing. I'm like, guys, you're 17 or 16. These are professional football players, and they're like, yeah, but he didn't do his route.
Yep.
Anyway. Steve's got some stuff. A second World War II movie? Is that what he's saying for Walker? Probably.
Which one?
I don't know. Once Walker did Going Dark, did I send you his comic, the Untitled Walker Young Project?
No.
I should probably mail you one. He did, like, it's got 2 comic stories. It came out at San Diego. It was pretty cool. He got interviewed a couple of times. It was a nice splash for his comic. But the first story is a World War II story that the Philback brothers drew. The guys, they do stuff with. They're good comic book guys. They did Dark Horse Adventures. Star Wars Adventures for Dark Horse. They have a great style. Anyway, it's just like fucking just serious World War II story, and you're like, when you're a kid, why aren't you doing a superhero story or he's like completely. It's just this personal 2-soldier thing. One guy gets blinded in a grenade blast, and the other guy just talks to him all the way back to safety. And it's like, wow, dude, that is very deep. and he did some storytelling tricks. Like the guy was like it's like, where does this come from? And he's like, oh, I just really like Band of Brothers.
Now,
yeah, so
it's going to be, does he keep running that ball, or does he just kind of like set it aside?
World War II or just storytelling?
The storytelling.
Oh, dude, no. He did the second story is called Jack Fry. It's basically if Humphrey Bogart was in the X-Files. But you don't know until the end. It's always like this legit case that he figures out, and then it's fucking vampires. It's so funny. Or, I forget what the first one is. Fucking werewolves? No. Fucking aliens. That's what it is. Fucking aliens. So when he wrote that, like me and Steve and Mark were like saying that to each other for like a month. And then when the art comes in, it was like so perfect. We were like, yeah, fucking aliens. So Jack Fry is a guy, he's got 3 more stories and he's gonna collect all those. I think that's not this San Diego, but the next one. He's doing it so like building his audience. He's not just gonna drop everything all at once. And then so the Untitled Walker Young Project 2 has a Jack Fry story in it, but there's a follow-up to Planet of the Capes, the thing I did with Brandon McKinney, who's a big shot artist. He did ElfQuest for the Pennies for a long time, but now he's a animation director in charge of Harley Quinn. So I call him up just as a courtesy, because he owns half those properties, but it's just nonsense. He doesn't care. So I'm like, hey man, do you care? Like, Walker has an idea to follow up Planet of the Capes. It's like 8 or 10 pages. It's this thing that he's doing. Do you care? He's like, no, yes, I do fucking care. And I'm like, what? Goes, I want to draw it. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome. So the Philback brothers for your first one, Brandon McKinney for the second one, and then Jack Fry, which is his own love. It's like, this is really cool, man. So yeah, he's into comics, but more like everybody else in comics now that are making comics. They just want to use that to get into Hollywood.
Hey, if it works, can't hate him for it.
No, I mean it totally works, right? The barrier to entry for comics of words and pictures juxtaposed is nothing, as you know. It's a flare pen and type and paper, and the rest of it's a scale thing, right? But movies, you need equipment, and you need other people, and it's much more collaborative. So I was telling them, look, you learn how to work with people at this level and build your audience, and then when somebody hands you, $200,000, like, $200 million, like J.J. Abrams, or who's the guy that did Safety Is Not Guaranteed. It's like this $800,000 movie with one of the girls from Community and one of the guys from like The League, and it was this nothing thing, except at the end it's revealed that yes, the nutty guy really was a time traveler. It's great. It's a personal little story. It's really compelling. It's well cast. It's great. And they take that guy and go, here, do the third Star Wars movie. His name's something I can't remember his name. It's a weird name. But like, what the fuck, man? He's like, how can you do that to somebody? They actually gave him Jurassic World because that whole thing is in place, right? And then that worked. And he took his $800,000 sensibility, made like a really cool character piece. But then all the other guys did the dinosaurs eating and jumping, flying, and running in high heels and shit. What does he have to do with that, right? So then they give him the third Star Wars movie, and he just panics. What? And that's why JJ did the third one again. And I was like, man.
Well, see, now I can't remember his name either.
Yeah, I mean, if Steve was here, he'd look it up really fast, which I can do. But what the thing I hate about that is I just look down when I'm doing my typing. So it's like, do you enjoy my Coke hat? It's in Chinese. Jurassic World. Who directed it? Oh my God. Somehow I hit Jurassic World and it took me to the film score. Colin Trevorrow.
Okay.
I thought of Cory Doctorow from Boing Boing, and he's a science fiction writer, and I was like, it's kind of like that, but I know that's a different guy, and I will never think of it. But now I'm happy because Cory Doctorow is kind of like Colin Trevorrow. I was close. Anyway, so don't give me $250 million and tell me to make a movie. Don't give me $800,000. Although Walker would probably get a pretty decent movie out for $800,000. That guy's got chops.
I mean, what did they spend on that Godzilla movie that everyone's raving about? $15 million?
-1, yeah.
Yeah. It's getting worldwide blow up.
That's what I thought about the strike. I was like, this is going to be good because we're going to have $20 and $50 million movies again. Because the problem is you can't make money if everything has to make $1 billion.
Right.
You can't. And so I get that they don't want to do like, crappy little independent movies because that's so idiosyncratic. The audience that you've trained for Robert Downey Jr. isn't going to really dig on, something minor by something minor, even though it's beautiful, right? That you can't blow it up. So the only answer is the middle. Hit the middle, man. Bell curve.
I kind of like what's coming up in February though.
Oh, what's coming up?
There's that Argyle movie.
Oh yeah, that looks good.
Dunk 2 isn't Dunk 2 in February, or is that March?
I don't know. What's Dunk? I don't know Dunk 2, so I don't know Dunk.
Dune.
Oh, dude. Dune. Yeah. We actually, Steve got us tickets for Dune already, I think. Rick Austin, you guys are doing it. I just don't
Welcome aboard,
live. Yeah, we're doing it. We did it. We got a late start.
Coming in at the tail end there, buddy.
You should watch the whole thing because we talked about you half the time, Rick. We kind of did. I mean, half the time. A good portion. Significant portion. Oh, the movie crew. Chuck, I was telling Walker about the movie crew last night. That's awesome.
And there's another Cavill movie coming out. God, it's a World War II movie. Just saw the trailer for it. I wish I could remember the name of it right now. Where's Sag when you need him?
Yeah, I don't know. All right, I hate to go now that Rick is
catching on. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Oh my God, the Guy Ritchie movie.
Yes,
sir. Henry Cavill's in that one too, isn't he?
Yep.
So it's Henry Cavill Love Day, I guess.
Hell yes.
Walker's been painting Warhammer. Walker's been painting Warhammer figures, so I told him. So Superman and Warhammer are two things that you and Henry Cavill have in common. Yeah, that one looks great. Ungentle. Is that a period piece? It sounds like it.
Yep. It's supposed to be based on a true story in World War II.
Look at Rick Austin. Just say everything again. Section 31 is awful.
There you go.
Rick hated everything everywhere all at once. They had hot dogs for fingers. That's basically.
I have no interest in it, and that's what Rick and I have in common. Yay.
Yeah. All right. I mean, thanks, Hector, for filling in for old Johnny Price.
Hey, no problem. If I'm working
a little under the weather, so he couldn't come in. He missed the and that's cool because he missed the inaugural theme song, but he'll see the real one next week.
The full version next week.
I did some funny. I asked Walker, can you just do something for me and put this music under something funny? He's like, send me some pics. I made this little folder called Intro Assets. I put in screen grabs, pics of John I found places, him drinking with a buddy at a wedding, and Walker goes, what am I supposed to do this? I'm like, budget approved, man. He goes, black and white Law and Order Dick Wolf thing. I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And it was so funny. Like, he's such a, you can tell Mimi's his mom and that I'm his dad, because he went, what the fuck do I do with this? Oh, I have a great idea, and here's the spreadsheet. Let's go. It's just so funny. Awesome. It's like, you're 50-50, pal.
Hey, carte blanche. Man,
something to that DNA. Anyway, you have anything you want to plug? Like, no, man, go to your Facebook or
nothing yet. Nothing that I can generate income with. Let's see. It's gray and cloudy in Southern California right now.
You don't have to plug stuff that you are personally monetarily enriched by. You can just be, looking forward to Argyle. Look, Steve comes in. Hey, it's Colin Tevereau. Just want to let you know. I did say, Steve, I don't know if you were on, because Steve and Mark are usually on. You're usually doing work instead of listening to us. And so I said, Steve, if Steve was here, he'd find that out for me. But I had to do it myself.
He even named the movie at 403.
Oh, that's true. Anyway.
All right.
All right, let's call it.
Yep.
Thank you, Hector.
It's my
You're
pleasure.
awesome.
Thanks for having me.
And yeah, see everybody. Thank you.
Yep. Bye.